Humans are unreliable, and this is the source of all knowledge creation. If we were more reliable and had faithful transmission of all of our ideas, that would lead to a static society. A static society is just when there is no noticeable changes within the lifetime of any individual. And by no noticeable changes, I mean there's no progress. And we don't want that. We don't want there to be no progress. We don't want to beat children for them to understand our ideas. We don't want to follow tradition, the same one from day one to our death, every single day for every single person. We want our ideas to grow and change and progress. And today, you can have noticeable progression, meaningful progression in your life every day if you want it, if you have that creative bandwidth. And a major reason why people don't is because of Lamarckism. Lamarckism is a false theory of evolution that an individual can acquire new traits in its lifetime and pass those traits on to its offspring. In this theory, an organism can consciously develop characteristics for a particular end which addresses a particular known problem, and those perfected traits are faithfully transmitted to the next generation. Inherent in the structure of Lamarckism is a misunderstanding of where knowledge is created, mostly because of a misunderstanding of where knowledge is stored. His brother thinks that stretching his neck is what gives a giraffe long necks, and then having a stretched neck is some way to give your kids long necks also. But obviously, we know now stretching your neck doesn't do shit to your DNA, and the DNA is where the knowledge is stored. While Lamarckism has been invalidated in the field of biology, that structure, it persists in other fields and other ways that people think about how knowledge is created. Now, I'm not a biologist, all right? So we don't need to get too deep into all the specifics of it. Just go from that level that I'm talking here. We can easily contrast this with Darwinian evolution, which is
based.
We can contrast this with Darwinian evolution, where knowledge is constantly changing without any conscious direction. And this is because of the lack of faithful transmission and the lack of faithful storage of knowledge. Just think about your DNA. You got DNA, and the DNA, the structure of DNA, changes, mutates randomly or by causes that are completely uncontrollable, cosmic rays and so on, and just errors in the replication. The DNA changes in such a way that creates some new knowledge. And think about this. Another thing that's interesting here is that the knowledge comes first, and then it is tested in the wild. And obviously, most of the times, it is not very good knowledge. It's not knowledge at all. It just dies. But occasionally, you get something that has an unpredictable benefit on something that was completely just unknown. Nobody was looking for this. And that unpredictable change has a benefit that is much better than whatever the original knowledge was. And because of that, because it's unpredictable and because that change is always constantly happening, there is no endpoint to it. So the knowledge just constantly, consistently, it just goes. It just goes. It just goes. Knowledge go burr. Because there's no endpoint, because there's no directed change, the knowledge just continues to grow. So to the extent that we hold on to Lamarckist ideas, we stop knowledge growth. And even if we could grow with Lamarckism, we would go to a specific endpoint and stop. But with Darwinian evolution and Darwinian knowledge growth, it just continues to grow all the time, and it's constantly changing. You can't stop it. Improvement can come from any gene mutation at any point in time under any circumstances and lead to some new knowledge. It leads to progress. It leads to a new species. It leads to something that is completely beneficial and unpredictable. And now take that as an analogy for human knowledge creation and knowledge growth. Something can change. Any part of your knowledge can change in a way that is unpredictable and unforeseen and lead to this benefit that just can continue. Lead to this benefit that progresses your life in an unbounded way with no endpoint in sight. You can lead to infinity, baby. So let's all misunderstand each other and progress to something better.